UFC fan. I'm surfing. I listen to Joe Rogan, so I know about as much as. Yeah, we went to the one at Intuit a couple weeks ago. Who was it? Islam?
Islam, yep.
Yeah.
The main event.
What was that little short dude from Georgia? Marab. That dude's a beast.
That was the fight, right?
Yeah, that guy was crazy. Yeah, he was a badass. You could tell too he didn't get tired. The other dude was like wore out. Like,
have you studied it all or seen the Khabib, like the crew?
he told me about it. I mean, I know who Khabib is, right? He's like training. He trained 2 of the guys that night, right?
Right.
Yeah.
His dad, Khabib was wrestling bears when he was a kid.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
And there was Islam had the only loss out of all of them.
I just knew that, like, I remember when he beat Connor and he spit on him. And he was like, let's talk now, motherfuckers. I forget what it was. I was like, damn.
Did you see what happened before that?
Wasn't he talking shit about Islam and all that? Like,
kind of,
wife?
yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, a bunch of stuff, right? About his dad, too, and people from, the guys from those areas, like, they don't mess around with their families,
Yeah.
Nobody talks about those kinds of things. But he threw, I guess there was some altercation with one of Khabib's guys, but with Connor's, like one of his boys. And then he took to it, and I think they were in New York City, and he threw like something at the bus.
Oh, I think I saw that, yeah.
Created this big ruckus,
Didn't he get charged for that?
He got charged, went to court.
Yeah, Connor's kind of like, I feel like it happens with all those UFC guys. Like, I mean, it's happening with the Izzy guy right now, right? Like, they hit that peak, and then I don't know what happens. I mean, who's the only guy who stayed at the peak without, like, eating shit? Was it John Jones?
John Jones, man.
But he was just doing a lot of coke. I used to see him all the time at the strip club. Yeah, I used to see him at the strip club in Arizona all the time because his brother played for the Cardinals. So I would see John. I'd be like, John Jones? Yeah. But yeah, nah. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not too, like I said, I'm a big wrestling fan, which is not a real sport.
Wrestling, like pro wrestling?
Yeah, WWE. Yeah. I know it's not a real sport.
Who are your favorite wrestlers?
Ever? Probably CM Punk. I like, obviously, Stone Cold right now. I like, who do I like right now, Aiden? Bray, Jey Uso. I like Roman now. Yeah, Roman's doing his thing. Used to not like him. CM Punk. CM Punk's still the guy, though. Yeah, Punk's still my guy.
What'd you think of him going to the UFC?
I mean, I think he got his ass kicked. He got destroyed. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
I admire his the courage and stuff that it took to
I felt like he tried to go about it the right way. Like, I feel like a lot of guys try to just walk in and think shit's sweet. And, like, what was the dude's name who used to do the backyard fights? Kimbo Slice. Like, I feel like he tried to do.
You guys know all the history, all the people.
Kimbo was that guy though on YouTube, man. He used to fuck dudes up on YouTube.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man. I used to watch his YouTube shit. Like, he was like early YouTube Kimbo Slice. But yeah, the UFC thing is just. I feel like I just know whatever Joe Rogan talks about. So sometimes I was like, I mean, I know Sean O'Malley. I was just hanging out with Sean O'Malley. I didn't tell you that. Grandpa and Grandma met him. He was in Jelly Roll's trailer in Arizona. He's from Arizona. I got his number. Yeah. I was like, Sugar Sean, man, what's up? But
what did you think of Ronda Rousey in the WWE?
I never was a fan of her in the WWE. Yeah.
It didn't work, you think?
It didn't work long. I think it worked initially. I think had she just came, if they would have treated her more like how Brock Lesnar is, where Brock doesn't wrestle like every Monday. I feel like they tried to put her more into like a regular like wrestling role and it just didn't work out. But it was cool for like, the initial pop. And then I feel like, I mean, she got the shit, like she ended on a low point, right? Like she got beat up.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it was the perfect storm. I kind of always say how just the situation, right? Because, she had just knocked out a girl in Brazil. It was like the Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson fight.
It's almost like, because, in UFC, it's about like, it's more about like the styles, right? Like if like you might match up against somebody.
Correct, yeah. And
but
so,
because isn't that what happened with the dude who beat Izzy? Because he was the guy who beat him was a kickboxer, right? What's his name? Pereira. And that style just didn't line up.
Yeah.
with Izzy.
The style, yeah, for sure.
Because didn't that guy beat him before in the kickboxing league?
I think he beat him twice, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'm just regurgitating Joe Rogan stuff. Yeah.
Was it what were we saying before that about? I was gonna say something. Oh, the just the WWE, how they build up everybody and just the process. I watched this documentary on the series on
The Netflix one, the Mr. McMahon one.
Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, shit's crazy.
That was like, man, I was like impressed, you know.
Yeah, it's all storytelling, man. Their job is to make you feel, whether it's anger, whether it's, you know, that's why they say if you're a heel and you can get the boos are just as strong as the cheers, you know, in terms of the bank account. As long as you make people feel some type of way. So, yeah. Are we already rolling? Oh, we're rolling?
We're rolling.
I didn't know.
We're not live, but we're recording, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, because the storytelling, right? The storytelling on the McMahon, I was like, damn, like just the all the stuff in the thing, and the son getting involved in the storytelling. Though, I mean, everybody, right? The whole
his whole family at some point in time was on TV, like all simultaneously, different storylines. His wife was there. He missed. Vince McMahon had no shame.
No shame.
Absolutely no shame. He would. Yeah, especially like there was the part where he had his wife Linda McMahon was like paralyzed in the wheelchair, and he was like making out with women in front of her. Like it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. You ain't getting that in the UFC.
I had no idea that was going on until I saw the Netflix, you know, series.
Yeah, I think too, like going to that. I mean, I don't know if I went to like because that's second to last fight that I did go to, the UFC fight. It was dope with the Marab, but a WWE live event, to me, it's more like tailored to. It's like a show. I feel like when you go to like a boxing match or you go to a UFC fight, I mean, there's a chance all the fights suck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
As to where like WWE, it's all about the show. So like everything's, it's all predetermined. So you know you're gonna get a show. Like and you might not like who wins or whatever, but I feel like with UFC.
Did you ever watch Pride Fighting Championship?
Nah, I played the game though, but no. Actually, I might have. Uriah Faber, right? Was on that.
No, it was way before. It was like Vanderlei Silva,
No.
Anderson Silva, and some of the, the Mark Coleman. Who was some of the guys? Fedor.
Yeah, nah. I've obviously heard of those guys.
I think they did a good mix of mixing like a little bit of pro wrestling with the fight game. You know. I
went to some Muay Thai fights in Thailand. That shit was fire. And then I started watching YouTube. There's these two little dudes. I forget their names, but they don't even have they have like wrestler names. The Muay Thai fighter. There's like this little Asian dude with like.
I mean, some of those Thai names are like so long.
No, it's the guy's just got a one-word name.
Okay.
That's just his name. It's like Madonna or something. These guys beat the fuck out of each other, dude. That Muay Thai shit is. We went to I think it was in Phuket. I forget the name of the road, but yeah,
Phuket.
Yeah,
okay.
Like the main arena that was there, and there was 8 fights and 6 of them were knockouts, and they were all brutal, man. I was like, Jesus, these guys are.
It was like a bar. What was it?
No, it was like arena? It was like their like the arena that's there. It's like a known area for Muay Thai. It is at Patong Beach, but there's a name of the road. I forget what it's called, but yeah, that shit was. Yep, that's it. Yeah, Bangla. Yeah. Shit was crazy though. No, Muay Thai was. That shit is interesting, man. I'm surprised that that's not bigger.
Me too. Like have you seen the one fighting championship? They're doing like Muay Thai. They're doing jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And that's the only that's like the biggest Muay Thai kind of things.
I feel like it's action packed the whole time.
Oh man, especially at Nico Carrillo, right? And some fights are just nuts.
The way that they do those
they have like the Muay Thai with the small gloves.
The like the flying elbows, where's that shit's crazy. And those guys have to piss blood every time after every fight. The way they get kicked in their legs, I'm like, there's no way you're not pissing blood.
Yeah. They like to say people in MMA and people in Muay Thai, they don't take as much damage as boxers because it's more dispersed, you know.
over
brain
your
damage.
whole body.
Brain
You're not
damage,
going to have as much CTE.
CTE.
Yeah, there won't be as much concussions.
It's better to piss blood than to have CTE.
That's probably right. You can only piss blood for a couple of days. CTE is for life.
So yeah, man, it's interesting. Just the whole fight game. It's interesting as how UFC and WWE merged too, right? And
TKO.
TKO company.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Now they can do a lot. They can do a lot of cross promotion. I feel like a lot of those guys are, especially if Brock ever comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just got named in a lawsuit, so I don't know if he'll be coming back anytime soon. But if he ever comes back, but a lot of those guys are. I feel like it's like that. Then it opens up Vegas as like a little hub for WWE too. So
Because it's not right.
not right now. Everything's based out of Florida in terms of like their performance center and kind of like their headquarters are in Connecticut, but all the fighters or wrestlers they train in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been seeing a lot of guys training at the UFC headquarters in Vegas now. So it's dope.
Yeah. It's crazy how things have evolved over the years. You know. I was gonna ask you. You're originally from Arizona, from Phoenix.
Yeah. Phoenix, man. Burbank Fire Department outside. But yeah, I'm originally from Phoenix. Yep.
Yeah. And so how did you get into like just DJing and
Yeah, I mean, I started DJing like originally when I was probably like 13 or 14. I got a pair of turntables, shitty pair of turntables. Out of the back, my dad ordered like a DJ in a box setup thing. It was like $300, maybe even less. And then I realized pretty quickly like buying records was expensive. So I had to like go buy records, and then I couldn't afford to buy records, so I would just get whatever records I could get for free. And then I ended up selling my turntables when I was like 16 because I needed the money. And then Serato came out, which is kind of what changed the DJ game, where everyone's DJing on their laptop, so you don't have to worry about records. Now you can just have your music in your computer. So that came out when I was around 18, and then that kind of made just everything easier. Then I started interning at the radio station.
in Phoenix?
Yeah, around 18 years old, and then kind of worked my way up from the street team to being an on-air personality, and then moved around. I went from Phoenix to Boise to Vegas.
Boise, Iowa.
Phoenix, Boise, Vegas, back to Phoenix, Tampa, LA. So, yeah, doing radio is like being on a sports team. It's crazy. Most radio personalities have done radio everywhere. Like, they've been at least 3 cities, most of them. So for me, it was Boise, Phoenix, Boise, Vegas, Phoenix, Tampa, LA. So lived all over.
18, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I really started doing radio when I was like 16 in my high school, though. But like getting paid, like working for a real radio station, 18. So.
And did you think you were gonna do something like that growing up? Did you have?
I don't know, man. I always was like a hip hop head, so I always knew I wanted to do something kind of music oriented. So I think radio was like, for me, I used to always be like like the class clown. So it was kind of like a great way to kind of combine both sides. Hey, I love music. I can be involved in the music industry, and also kind of like be a jackass and get paid for it. So, yeah. I mean, I would say I probably knew about 15, 16 that's what I wanted to do. So that had to do with just the high school I went to. We had a radio broadcasting program there with like a little local radio station that was a mile around the high school. So once I got into that, I was like, okay, this is what I think. I think this is what I want to do. I knew I wanted to do something involved with music though, for sure. So.
Just thinking of Phoenix, I just remembered. Have you seen that movie Unstoppable with Anthony Robles, the national champion?
No.
Mesa High School, I think.
Mesa High. Oh yeah, Mesa High.
He had like one leg.
I lived 3 minutes from Mesa High School growing up. Did not go there. I went to that rival, but I lived right there. I heard of it though. Yeah. Okay. I now that you said Mesa High, I remember seeing something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. ASU, right? ASU has been a powerhouse for a lot of years in
Is
wrestling.
It? I just know it's a party house. That's where they go and
Sure,
get.
it's
the
that too.
#1 party school in the country. I guess when I think about it, yeah, they're pretty big in the wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby Douglas
Yeah.
and Don Fry, I think, wrestled there. Dan Severn, I'm not sure, but a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I know we're good at football
Fighters.
now, so that's good, because ASU sucked for years at everything, I guess, except wrestling and partying.
And partying.
They probably produced the most amount of amateur porn stars out of every college there is, for sure, guaranteed. There has to be. There has to be some sort
Were
of.
those they were selling Girls Gone Wild? Was that
That was a lot going on there. Yeah, that guy made a fortune out of ASU for sure.
I watched the Snoop Dogg episode.
Yeah.
Is it your 500th episode?
Yeah. Snoop. Yeah. That was fun. Snoop's a great guy, man. That was one I'd always try to get, and for whatever reason, it just never lined up. And then he was putting his new album out with Dr. Dre, and it just kind of aligned with when I was going to be hitting the 500 on my episode. So I was like, perfect. It wasn't like on purpose or anything. It just happened that way. So yeah, Snoop was the shit, man. I've met Snoop a few times, hung out at his compound, got to smoke with him and shit, but being able to like sit down with him and like really, really talk to him, that was kind of the first time. Like we've had like surface level, like, hanging out in the studio. There's loud music. There's lots of weed smoke everywhere. But in terms of like really kind of like locking in and talking to him, that was the first time. So that shit was super dope for sure. That was like a bucket list interview for me. So
Yeah. I can't imagine Snoop Dogg, one of the goats.
yeah, man, he was cool. I mean, he's the coolest, and he has this cool compound in Inglewood that's like, it's massive, and I mean everything he's got. He shoots a lot of his TV stuff there. He's got his gaming. He has a whole gaming
He's
company
everywhere, man.
But a lot of that
Olympics.
stuff runs out of this little like compound where he has different sets and green screens, and he's got his gaming company that runs out of there. They do Twitch, they do all kinds of shit. So he's got a radio station that's there. Like Snoop shit is crazy. So yeah, it was dope to go. Like I actually got to go and hang out there. And actually, like I've been there before, but I've been there before like only going into one spot. So I got to kind of get the full tour. Snoop's got it figured out, man. Like you said, he's everywhere. He's probably the most famous person alive. He's one of them.
Right. I mean, Olympics, right? Olympics. You see him in Bollywood videos. You see him in Armenian.
Everybody knows Snoop. That's the thing. I don't know. Like, maybe Trump's as famous as Snoop right now. Maybe. But worldwide, I don't know. Snoop is Snoop. I don't know.
Yeah. Who are some of your other top guests over the years?
I would say like my favorite. I mean, I've interviewed like Nas. I've damn near interviewed everybody. 50 Cent, Nas, Rick Ross, Justin Bieber. Recently, like on the actual pod platform, Kevin Gates is always fun. Who do we have? Killer Mike's always great. Obviously, Snoop was amazing. Anytime I get to interview like some of my favorite wrestlers, that's fun.
Oh, you get to.
So I've got to interview some wrestlers, which were dope. Like Bray Wyatt, before he passed away, I got to interview him a couple of times. Trying to think who else recently that I really, really fucked with. That was just like, oh, this is sick. Oh, Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
Yeah, we did Cube, and Ice Cube was that was sick. So I got to do him before, but I did him E40 and Too Short at the same time, and I couldn't really. I don't like interviewing groups, like multiple people at once, because you can't really have like a honed-in conversation. So when I got to interview Cube solo one-on-one, it was like I was like, cool. I have a lot of stuff to just ask you, about. You got a tissue over there so I can blow my nose? There's a paper towel. Sorry. My wife left the fan on this morning, and it's got me fucking going crazy. I hate when she all night the fan's on, and I'm like too lazy to get up, and I wake up with a sore throat and a runny nose.
I get like that when sometimes because in tropical places you have to have a fan.
Thank you, brother. Yes. No, that happens all the time. Yeah, because there's no AC, right?
Right. And then you sleep at night or take a nap, and then
you wake up with that happened to me this morning.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I was like, yeah, I told you to turn the fucking fan off. But yeah, no, Ice Cube is dope. I just did, who else did I just do recently? Exhibit. Yeah, man, there's been a lot, dude. I mean, like you said, 500 episodes. So that's a serious amount. I always have fun with Freddie Gibbs, who's hilarious. Somebody who is actually a big Muay Thai guy is Denzel Curry. He's been on a couple of times. He trains a lot. He goes to Thailand. I think he's well, they don't have belts, right?
No.
Right.
But traditionally not.
He's he's had like fights. Yeah, so him and Serge, shout out to Serge, the legacy.
S.B.
S.B. Him and Serge had a good talk about Muay Thai. Shout out to Serge. Always got to let people know he does Muay Thai by wearing the Muay Thai shirt. You know the shirt.
Hey man, he's the probably
he replaced it with What Up,
placements. What up, dope?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah,
I'm wearing all the stuff. He's put the placements. You know,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, man, I've had a lot, dude. I mean, we've had like a lot of crazy situations where like, you know, we had a guy walk off the podcast and went viral recently. The guy was like super, I don't know, he had a bad day going. And I was asking him about his football career growing up, and the dude just stood up and walked out. It was everywhere. It was on TMZ. It was everywhere. So that was crazy. But yeah, we've had some pretty dope guests, man. Like,
did you have Diddy on the show?
No, but I met Diddy a couple of times. I met Diddy once when he was on Drink Champs, which was a different podcast. I was just there, and he happened to come in, and that interview was legendary, super weird, very, very homoerotic. And I remember everybody was standing back like, he was calling everybody daddy. It was weird. And then I met him, I met Diddy at the iHeart Music Festival 2 years ago, and he was super cool. I mean, you know, he performed. And I know his son. His son, Christian, is a great kid. King Combs. I feel bad for his kids, you know, because they're going all the shit they're going through. But yeah, I've met Diddy twice. I only got one photo with him, but it was a group photo. There was a lot of us in it. But yeah, I mean, the Diddy shit's crazy. I think
you never went to Diddy party?
No, I would have went though. Listen, anybody who tells you that they wouldn't, that everyone who's in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, would go to it. If you got the invite, you're gonna go. Now, it's not about what happened from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. It's probably what goes down from 3:30 to 7 in the morning that shit gets probably pretty hairy, you know? But everybody, for the most part, that somebody has been to some sort of Diddy event. This is it's like they keep posting all these photos of celebrities with Diddy and insinuating that they're a part. I'm like, every celebrity has a photo with Diddy. Everyone has met him. This is one of the most legendary hip hop figures of all time. He's a fucking entrepreneur. He's a mogul. Everyone was drinking Ciroc. No, I mean, now that, hindsight's 2020, people probably did not know what was going on, and we still don't even know what happened, I'm curious. The trial is going to be interesting because he still hasn't been found guilty of a lot of this. I mean, obviously, he beat the shit out of Cassie. We saw that. But a lot of the allegations about some of the freakier shit, his lawyer's saying all of it was consensual. And it very may well be. It's not against the law to own 200 bottles of baby oil. It is peculiar. And do you buy in bulk? Do you get discounts? I don't know. Do you go to Costco? I don't know. Is it an Amazon Prime purchase? Who knows?
Man. From, me growing up and, I went to high school in New York and just growing up with all these guys. And
where in New York?
I went to Staten Island and I lived in the city for a little bit. And then my dad wanted to get a house.
Staten Island, home of the Wu-Tang Clan.
The Wu-Tang, that's right.
Yes.
When I was in high school, they came out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have them on the show?
I've interviewed members of Wu-Tang. I interviewed RZA. I interviewed Raekwon. Interviewed, RZA, Raekwon. I interviewed Method Man way back in the day. I think that's it. Yeah, I want to interview Ghostface Killah. That's one of my favorite rappers. But yeah, I love Wu-Tang, obviously. But yeah, Staten Island. That's kind of like, what is that? A ferry ride?
Ferry ride from the city.
Yeah.
And when you go out, you take the ferry to go to the city.
And that's the closest. I think that's the closest, or maybe it's Long Island. Someone said the closest Walmart to New York City is it's either Long Island or Staten Island. It might be Long Island.
Probably.
Yeah. Because I remember I was like in New York City. I'm like, yeah, there ain't no fucking Walmart here. There's no Walmart. Because the unions.
Oh.
Yeah, they if Walmart won't refuses to open in New York City because of the law for however because they fuck their workers. Obviously, they're like, well, you can't unionize against us. Everybody will want to do that, so they don't open in New York.
New York.
No Walmarts in New York City, just bodegas. Maybe a Whole Foods. I don't know.
Yeah, Whole Foods, New York.
For sure. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's New York is a wild place, man. You made the right decision. I don't understand people who live there. You go to New York, I'm like,
I had a great time, man, in high school. You know, going to the city.
Yeah, I just feel like living in the city. I feel like you always have to be. It's like your day starts out a little like you have to be a little stressed out to live there because you have to kind of be on your toes. You're walking everywhere, so you're rubbing shoulders with strangers all day.
All day.
Then you're probably taking the subway. So I feel like you always have to kind of be like, in LA, you get in your car, you go on a drive, you kind of check out, throw a podcast on. You can't check out in New York.
Yeah.
You might get fucking robbed. You know what I'm saying?
I remember I did like a fight camp. I spent like a week there training for a fight, and so I spent a week in New York City, and then I came to LA. I was in LA, and then I went to New Mexico, and so just how fast the day goes in New York City compared to like
for sure
another place.
Yeah. No, New York's insane. Yeah, I mean it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun for like 3 days.
3 days, yeah, 3 days. That's it.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I mean, the day goes by, you wake up, and you're like, it's nighttime already.
Yeah, and the hotels are all so small. You go there and you're like, it's fucking $700 for a closet for it's a boutique hotel. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, New York's fun for 3 days.
3 days, that's good.
That's good. Good food though, really good food. Great pizza. Great. They got great diners. You know, what else do they got? I think they got everything in New York. I don't know. I think New York and LA are pretty similar in terms of the food. I feel like they got LA on the Italian food, but LA's got everybody on the Mexican shit. The Mexican food here is the best, but you can get pockets of everything in LA at a pretty high level, and in New York you can get pockets of a lot of shit at a high level. You know?
Yeah, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
How did What Up Dough come about?
Yeah, so we ended up, opening in Burbank. It was an idea of this guy named Justin, who is a pizza guy who we were all friends with. He had the name idea, and he's a great pizza guy. So we all just decided to kind of. I mean, honestly, that place popped up where we are. It was like
across the street from Porto's.
Yeah, so it was kind of like a lot of things kind of aligned where we were like, well, damn, this is a great location. The rent wasn't very high. I felt like there was a missing. I'm not crazy about any of the pizza in Burbank. I also like there's not a. I like pizza and wings. Like I love hot wings, and so I also was like. I wasn't crazy about any wing places in Burbank. So I was like, yo, if we could do like a dope pizza and wing place and then have the best pizza in Burbank, like we can kind of carve out our niche, And there's like decent pizza in Burbank. Like Prime is pretty good. But that opened a little bit later. Oh, that's really it. And then there's places like Dino's, which are like,
been there forever.
They've just been there forever. It's like Burbank good, but it's not like good, Like Dino's is good for like the kids, But to me, it was like when I first moved to Burbank, I moved out here in 2017, and I asked everybody like, yo, what's the best pizza place? And they told me Dino's, and then I got Dino's, and I was like, this shit's all right. But it's Burbank good. There's places that are like Burbank good.
Well, we have all these studios here, right? It's like we should have some better things here. Right?
Like I think like downtown Burbank's starting to develop with like some dope restaurants, but there's just a lot of places where you're like, yeah, this place is good for Burbank, you know. But really, you know, if you want to get great pizza, you probably got to drive a little bit or go a little bit deeper into the valley. Even like the Mexican food in Burbank. There's like Mexican food that's like good for Burbank, but if you want good Mexican food, you got to just go in a little bit deeper into the valley. You got to go into North Hollywood or Pacoima or Sun Valley. But, you know, there are some decent Mexican places in Burbank. It's not known for it. I don't know what is, I mean, Bordeaux's. They got great pastries in Burbank, great bakeries, and anywhere. I'm sure they got good kebabs here. The Armenians, they'll make sure of it.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Shout to the Armos, man. Between here and Glendale, there's a fucking great kebab place on every. You can throw a rock and hit one for sure.
Yeah. How about? Are you involved with some other restaurants?
Yeah, I have I have a nightclub in Scottsdale called 1111 in Arizona, and then I have a restaurant out there called Well Seasoned that's kind of connected to the club. So that's Well Seasoned is like more like soul food. We got like, you know, steak, fried lobster tail, mac and cheese, wings. And then the club has been open since we opened on New Year's Eve 2020, going into 2023 from 2022. So we just celebrated 2 years of the club being open, and that's been very successful. So that's back home, like that's in the hometown, you know. So I still
post pandemic, right?
Yeah,
because that's the thing, right?
What was great too is we opened like a month before the Super Bowl hit Phoenix. So we ate. Super Bowl came. It was amazing. And now AZ is kind of becoming like this like little hub for a lot of those types of events, like the Final Four. The Phoenix Opens there all the time, once a year, and that's crazy. That was just last week. The Barrett Jackson car auctions out there every year, and then we're getting the Super Bowl, I think, again in 2030. NBA All-Star games in 2 years. But yeah, AZ is kind of becoming like the new, like, I feel like the pandemic opened people's eyes to like Scottsdale because everything was closed. So people who lived in LA would go out there to party.
Right.
Because everything here was closed. So, yeah, it was, but yeah, the club's been good, man. But yeah, in LA, we got What Up Doe. I got my recording studios, which are kind of right by.
Where's your recording studio?
Right on Magnolia.
That's in Burbank?
No, it's technically North Hollywood, Toluca Lake,
gotcha.
but it's right by the restaurant. So it's on Magnolia and Biloxi, which is right before Cahuenga. So you know that old car wash that's to the right if you just keep going down Magnolia?
Yeah.
We're right across the street from the car wash. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. So you like me, you got everything in one stop.
Yeah, you literally have everything in one stop. You got the whole fucking block over here. You're gonna keep. Hey, if whoever's next door, as soon as their shit's up, you're gonna be like, yo, what can we do over here?
We're eyeing on it.
Yeah, we're like, yo, we gotta expand.
They got the higher ceilings there. You know the what's it called the metal shop. You know, it's a metal shop.
Yeah. No. Did it start off with you having just a piece of this, and then you just kept?
Correct. Yeah, we just started with the jiu-jitsu, and then then we came over downstairs and Muay Thai, and then
is it a lease?
It's a lease, yeah.
So every time something would open, would you just tell the guy like, "Hey, man, we want to take that too"?
Yeah. Just kind of kept growing, and then yeah, we had to have a good relationship with them, and then we went to the other where the cafe is, and then we started doing the Açai cart outside. And people started to come, and then
that restaurant, people are there all the time.
Yeah. So we had a health. You needed the health department and all that kind of stuff for the cart, and we didn't. It was just a cart.
Right.
And so we're like, okay, I guess it's time to do like a cafe.
Do you guys do protein drinks there too?
You can add protein to anything. Yeah.
No, it's perfect. So people work out, they go over there and get their post
hang
workout
out,
meal.
good spot, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Good vibes. And then you go to the recovery place as well. And then we do the tack fit, in the back. We have like another mat area, so we use it for jiu-jitsu and other stuff.
Tack fit's more with like the maces and
the club bells, steel maces, body weight things, but just all the things that we need to do to stay healthy.
Right. Yeah. No, you got it all figured out. Now I just got to wait for these guys next door to move. What are you going to do over there if you ever get it? Have you decided?
Yeah, you dream and you thought, we have there's a place in behind us, right? And we've always had issues with that neighbor for some reason, like forever. and I just met one of the students here, and he rented it out now. I'm like, oh wow, it's cool. I was gonna try to rent the place out just when I have an
So you
asshole
have to
neighbor.
deal with the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so it's cool. We have those guys are cool. So then, yeah, just that metal shop would be nice. What would I do? I don't know. I think we'll figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
That's where.
Well, because you're doing Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Correct.
But it's a different type of Muay Thai. It's Bang Muay Thai.
We do Bang Muay Thai. It's like Dutch style Muay Thai,
Okay.
you know. And then of course he you know, things that work, and you know, with fake a takedown, go upstairs. But he's kind of a mad scientist, you know, really smart. Dwayne Ludwig.
Yeah.
So I've been a fan of his. He's from Colorado. I was from New Mexico.
Right.
So I've been, you know, following him, and I know how his brain works. So it's been awesome. I think I was his first affiliate.
Right.
And then Andy's, you know, he's traditionally like from a traditional Muay Thai gym.
Right.
This guy named Walter Mikowski. Oh my God, Mikulowski. I messed it up. Walter, you know, crew Walter, in Sidatong, LA, and so he comes from that gym. So it's a
Sure.
nice
You
flow.
like you're like the biggest Muay Thai gym in Burbank, right, or in the Valley, in terms of just space.
I think we've got to beat up there for
Because
sure.
I feel like I've driven by other spots and they always look like very small.
Yeah, I think so. What I like about our gym too is it doesn't seem like it's that big, but
Right.
then you go in one room and then you keep going.
You're like, this place never ends.
Because I think it's important to have like a, you know, feel like home, not be such like a big corporate, you know,
Right.
whatever, warehouse kind of place,
Right.
you know. So it's nice. We get like our, you know, you feel very close with your training partners and
sure.
coaches, mentoring relationship.
For sure. No, that's dope, man. Yeah.
But yet it's big enough to you know, do it all.
You've never considered doing like a different location? Or
We have
franchising it out?
we have a legacy in Glendale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have Glendale, legacy in Pasadena,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
and then we just opened one up in Malibu.
Oh, nice. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then one of my black belts has one by USC, West Adams, Legacy
Dope.
West Adams.
So you
And-
got them all over LA.
I mean, it's happening.
Yeah.
And one of my best friends, lifelong friends, he just opened up a legacy in San Diego,
Oh, nice.
in Point Loma. Beautiful spot, beautiful location. He's like a true master, martial art master, with his daughter, family business, you know. So it's cool.
Would you say for like a street fight, what is the most effective thing somebody could learn?
Man, I think jiu-jitsu. I think jiu-jitsu, but I think you should learn how to strike as well, you know?
Yeah.
You should learn how to strike, and you should learn some basic wrestling, which you teach in jiu-jitsu, you know?
Right.
But things have evolved a lot, I think, since UFC is like a mainstream sport now.
For sure.
So you got to really, you know, you got to train, you got to do stuff.
Right.
Not just know of things, you know,
Right.
but actually do it, you know?
Right.
So I think like police officers, if you're a police officer in that type of work, I feel like you have to train.
You kind of have to know. Yeah. You got to be able to protect. It's like sometimes you'll see some cops that look super imagine being a fat cop in 2025. Everybody's fucking watching UFC and
I don't understand. It should be required at this point. You know?
yeah, it's like
and you know, even like making bad decisions, right? Because you're so nervous, you're so
Right.
stressed from the situation. They make
yeah, a
bad
lot of
decisions.
people will make bad decisions because they know maybe they're fucked because they're not prepared to defend themselves, so they might shoot somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, when they don't need to. you
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah, that's true.
And the beautiful thing with jiu-jitsu is you can control somebody, right? You can neutralize them.
Right.
So yeah, I think it should be required at this point, you know, of the game.
Yeah,
of martial
jiu-jitsu
arts.
is it feels like from like an outsider's perspective, just like wrestling around on the mat with a dude. It just you got to get over that part.
yeah. Having your legs around somebody. and-
Yes. Like you always see, like even watching UFC sometimes. It was funny too because we were watching. There was two girls who fought in the Intuit Dome, and one of the girls from Argentina had a fat ass, and every time she ended up on the floor, the whole crowd was like. You would have thought it was a strip club the way and I was like, wow, this is a UFC crowd. Everybody was whistling and I was like, damn, this poor girl can't even fight down there without everybody whistling because she's got a fatty on her. Like, but yeah, I think
What fighter was that?
She's
Perez.
I think Perez.
Ali Perez, yeah.
Every time she got into like a position where she was bent over, the whole crowd was yelling, and I just was looking at Aiden like, this is the manosphere in real life right here. We're in the middle of it right now. It's like, yeah, but I mean, I feel like jiu-jitsu is the most like biggest now, right? It used to kind of be like it was on the because my friend's brother he came up with the Gracies back in the day.
Correct.
Raka, he's a member of a rap group out here called Dilated Peoples, but he's cute. I think he's as high as you can go on the.
That's right. Yeah.
He was rapping about Gracies and his shit like in the late 90s.
Got his black belt, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I felt like back then, that was like, it was kind of like the, if you knew, you knew type of art form, if in terms of like, it wasn't like UFC hadn't popped off yet. So I don't think as many people kind of knew about jiu-jitsu. Do you think it kind of started to kind of, with the popularity of UFC?
UFC for sure. Back in the day, it was kind of like Fight Club, right? Those days were Fight Club,
right.
like only the strong survived.
Right.
Now it's very, let's just say very commercial, but it's more organized, right? It's professional. You can bring your kids in. You can come in without having to, have a UFC fight or a Vale-Tudo, which anything goes fight,
right.
without having that expectation, right? So I think it's evolved a lot. It's changed a lot with the UFC's popularity. Yeah. For those times and those early days, it's come a long way. I never thought that it was going to be a mainstream sport.
It's crazy, yeah. Even like PFL's big, like
PFL.
That's on ESPN. Yeah. Like
get that Saudi Arabia money.
Is that who owns that?
I don't know. I think so.
I know Wiz Khalifa is a part owner of it.
Okay.
He has a very small stake in it, but I know Wiz does Muay Thai, like serious Muay Thai. That guy be fucking. It's crazy, but I think he trains at Unbreakable.
Breakable. That's right. Yeah.
Unbreakable
on West Hollywood.
Yeah. That's where he's at. But yeah, we were in Thailand. When I was in Thailand, I was out there with him, and he went to a spot in Phuket. I forget what it was called, but he was outside. But
there's like a Tiger Muay Thai. There's like there's much places there now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bang,
I forget.
Bang Tao.
He's got a collab with them and everything. It's where he goes every time he's out there in Phuket. But yeah, that shit's crazy. Muay Thai shit's fun though.
Yeah, I love
just to watch. I want to try to get like I was like, yo, I'd be down to try to just fuck around, like try to learn it, because it seems like it's good for conditioning. And then I could wear a shirt like Serge. Yeah, let everybody know. Hey,
I do Muay Thai.
Yeah. AKA, that's it. Yep, it was the AKA.
AKA, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. No, that shit's crazy. But yeah, no.
I got a question for you. What have you done / do different in terms of prepping for an interview when you first started to now?
It just depends. I know he's not on the mic, but when it comes to prepping interviews, it depends. Sometimes if I'm a fan of somebody, for the most part, I'll just go in. If I'm like a real big fan of somebody, I won't do much preparing. I'll just kind of go in and just free ball it. That's kind of
because you go from the heart. You go from the
Yeah, I mean, if it's somebody who I'm like not too familiar with, I'll do some light prep. Try to find a few like things I can kind of. My whole thing is to try to, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, and I might not necessarily know the most about them, because I interview a ton of artists. Try to kind of shoot the shit with them until we get some sort of common ground that we can kind of relate with, and then it's more about it being a conversation than it is a podcast or an interview rather. But yeah, it just depends. Like, if there's someone who I know is really really big, but I might not necessarily be the biggest fan of them, then I'll be like, okay, I got to make sure like I really at least kind of watch a couple of interviews, make sure I kind of know a few key things to hit, because it's a big opportunity for me. I went to NBA Youngboy's house in Utah, and he's one of the biggest rappers of the last 10 years, and he's on house arrest, so I had to go to his house in Utah. And I was like, okay, let me actually, I know a lot. I know surface level stuff about the guy, so I try to kind of dig in a little bit more, learn some more stuff about him. And then him and I ended up just having like a fucking humanizing conversation because he's got so much lore around him, and you know he's in prison right now, actually. But you know, I think I was the first time people say I have the best interview he's ever done. It was like the most humanizing interview he's ever done, where we didn't necessarily talk about all his beef and the killing and all that other crazy shit, you know, that he's seen in his life. It was more like trying to get to know him as like a dude, you know. So yeah, it just depends. I would say from back in the day to now, I try to you know, make sure I do some sort of prep, but I don't ever really prepare anything. I try to shoot from the hip in most of my interviews. And then sometimes that backfires because then after the interview, I'm like, fuck, I fucking meant to, I meant to bring that shit up. Fuck. So it can happen, you know, but for the most part, I shoot from the hip. I've never like read questions or anything. I don't have any questions prepared ever. It's always like, if I have something prepared, it might be some bullet points.
Yeah.
I've only done that a few times. Like, for example, like with Ice Cube, I'm a huge Ice Cube fan. But I've been preparing for that interview for so long because I was like, damn, this might be the only time I ever get to like have a one-on-one with Cube. So I put bullet points down of shit I wanted to make sure I brought up. Like, okay, I definitely want to make sure I ask him about this. And if I don't write it down, I might forget during the interview. So with like Cube, I had like bullet points of like specific lyrics and songs that I was like, damn, I want to know what he meant when he said this, or what happened with this. And so I had some bullet points for Ice Cube. Snoop Dogg, it was all just shooting from the hip, you know. I fucking love Snoop. He's Snoop, you know. So
Can't go wrong, right?
it's all different. Yeah, it's all different. I would say for the most part, I'm freestyling, you know. I'll have some bullet points sometimes of stuff. If it's like, okay, I got to remember to bring this up. You know, sometimes the record label will give me like a one sheet of, if they bring an artist in, they'll give me a one sheet of info. I'll take a quick glance at it. All right, where they from, you know, who they worked with type shit. But there's never really like a one size fits all type of approach to when I do interviews and how I prepare. So
That's good. That's awesome.
Any tips for someone trying to start interviewing?
Yeah, I mean, tips, I would say just try to be like, I think that try to have a conversation as opposed to like an interview. I feel like being over prepared can be awkward for your guest if you're like reading, if you like you're hanging out and like you have like a yellow pad and you're like reading like so it doesn't.
I had a yellow pad in here before because I had this world champion wrestler and his dad, and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss certain things.
So, but that's different though. That's different than you like. I've been interviewed where someone's like reading what they're saying out of their mouth verbatim off of a piece of paper. It's different than having notes. Notes are different. I've had people like have just prepared full questions where they're like, "Hey, so speaking of that, in 1990," it's like that's like when you're like, you know, you want people to feel comfortable. That's the thing. The number one thing I can say is just make your guests feel comfortable where they don't feel like they're, you know, you want people to feel. The goal should be to try to get people to let their guard down, and then not come into a situation where it feels too structured, it feels too like like an interrogation, if you will.
Interrogation. That's it. Yeah.
So
awesome. Good. Yeah, Kevin's been doing his interviews, the one-offs, the reels, you know, with our students.
Oh, nice. You guys got the big old switcher over there. The big A10.
It's funny because it's called an A10 Mini.
No, I have the A10 Mini Pro and it's only 4 outputs. Mine's like half that size. So that's like the big boy. That's I think got 8 outputs. You could run 8 cameras out of that. Yeah. Mine you can only run 4. I have the same thing, but just the small version.
How'd you get into like doing the sauna and like taking care of your health and those kinds of things?
I would say maybe like a year ago, I'd always kind of started and stopped on terms of trying to like work out and stuff. And about a year ago, I would say probably April last year, I just started to like work out on a really consistent basis. And then I would go to the sauna. There's a place in, I don't want to promote them because they're the competition, but there's another place in Burbank that has saunas.
Yeah.
I bought a sauna for my house, one of those little like zip up ones.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but it's more like a steam, you know, it shoots the water in and, you know, it's like it's steamy. Pause. And I feel like mostly I would like always hear back to Joe Rogan. I would always hear Joe Rogan talking about like the health, and Andrew, there's a guy named Andrew Huberman,
Right.
who would always talk about the health benefits of cold plunging and sauna and all that shit. And so I started to do the sauna a lot. And I felt good. You know, it's like great to just sit in there, sweat. It's almost like meditation, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
We even got the Russian hats so you can cook your body a little bit more.
dude, for sure. And so, and then on the cold plunge front, I had got a cold plunge, and the fucking thing was the most jankiest piece of shit I got from some Chinese fucking website. And the water cooler didn't work. And I'm not going to the fucking store and buying fucking 20 bags of ice every time I want to do a cold plunge. So you guys opened, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. You know, it's right by the house. Because I was, I had cold plunged with Jelly Roll on tour last year. Jelly Roll's a singer, and he tours with a cold plunge and a sauna. So we did like 6 minutes in his cold plunge.
Damn.
But I cheat though. There's these cold plunge booties you could wear that you put on your feet.
I don't know about that.
Yes. So because that shit shoots through. That's where it hurts, is your feet.
Your hands and your feet.
Yeah. So I would say I got to the point where I got to get like I still consistently work out. I've fallen off since Christmas. I'm not gonna lie, in terms of my diet, but in terms of just like trying to be more health conscientious about trying to work out on a regular basis, whether it's playing basketball or lifting weights or hitting the treadmill. It's been about a year or so that I've been trying to be like super consistent with it. I just got fat, man. Like I was like 235. I was like, Jesus. Like I got all the way down to like 200 pounds, and I'm back up to like 210 right now, 212. Like I got to still lose some weight, but I definitely, I still am going to the gym. I try to go every day. I'm going to go after here. And then I love going, like I said, the sauna is great, man. Like,
what do you do? What's your routine? Do you do the sauna and then the cold plunge? What do you?
Yeah, I'll do the sauna, then the cold plunge. And then sometimes I'll go back in the sauna after for like another five or 10 minutes or something, you know? But I love the cold plunge. The cold plunge, it's like, I've never done cocaine, but I have friends who have done a shit ton of cocaine, and they all say it's like doing a bump. Like you get out of the cold plunge and it's like you're fucking, it's like doing a bump of cocaine. I'm like, I wouldn't know. I've never done drugs, but it's like you don't need pre-workout. You don't need anything.
You're alive.
You're alive. It's crazy. That's what I try to. I'm trying to get my wife, to go and I try to explain to her, like, you don't understand. Like, you get up and you conquer the fucking day.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can do anything after you get out of that bitch.
And you get tougher. You get used to it.
Yeah, because you got to breathe. It's just the breathing, right? It's all about the breathing. So that's the thing. Is like some days I could sit in your guys' cold plunge for like 3.5, 4 minutes. Some days, and other days I'm a pussy, and I just as soon as I hit like 2 minutes, I'm out that bitch. But it is. Yeah, I would suggest anybody to try to, even if you just take a cold shower in the morning. Yeah. It wakes you up. If that's the first thing you do, you kick your day off, and you might not even need coffee. If you got a coffee addiction, I have an energy drink addiction, obviously,
as you sipping it.
Yes, but yeah, no. I would say it was about a year ago. Like I said, I'd always kind of try to start and stop being healthy. Start, stop, and then I would say it's been about a year since I've been pretty locked in terms of just trying to be active, 4 or 5 days a week. So yeah,
nice, man. Hopefully, get you in one of these Muay Thai or martial art classes.
I think I could do Muay Thai. I'm not sure I can commit to jiu-jitsu. I get my son. My son will do jiu-jitsu. He needs it. Yeah, this kid needs to get his shit together.
He's friends with, he knows Matthew Nestor.
He knows Matthew Nestor, and he knows S.B. S.B is his best friend. No, it's his boss. He can't stand it. Him and Serge have a very, what is the word I'm looking for? They're friendly ops.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for making the time.
Having us in.
Appreciate
you, brother.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is a dope spot. You guys got it going over here, man. This is sick.
Try to have some fun. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. There it is.